even just take one thing that you're saying to yourself and change it to the opposite, and as if it's already happened. So that's one way to do it. And that's the way that I suggest the most, because then it's very specific to what your thing is that you want to change.
So, what if the most powerful tool in your business isn't your CRM or your script, but how you talk to yourself? In this episode of Lending Leadership, we sit down with founder and CEO of Loan Team Training, Irene Duford, to explore what it really takes to grow from the inside out, and from mastering mindset to building high-performing loan teams. Irene shares decades of coaching wisdom, plus a look at her new WOW program, which we're so excited to dive into, that helps loan officers find and train the perfect loan partner. Irene, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Welcome, Irene. This is awesome. I was talking with Rachel before this, and we were so excited to dive in and learn a little bit more about your program. But I thought, you know what? Tell us a little bit about your background first. How did you get to this place of being the founder and CEO of Loan Team Training? Where did you come from before this that set up this next piece and chapter of your career?
Yes. So back in 1997, I got into the mortgage business. I became a loan officer, and I was promised by my broker that I would get training. And so I was so excited, and I'd never been on commission before, like 100% commission. I was so excited. He said, the reason I'm hiring you is because you know a lot of people in town and you're well connected. And I didn't know what that meant. I had never been in sales or anything like that. So anyway, I never got the training that I wanted. And I'm a very systems oriented person. I have to know what I'm doing to feel comfortable, or at least back then I did for sure. And he never gave me training. So I'm passionate about training, about making sure that I wish I had training when I first started. So that was when I was a loan officer, and I was a loan officer for over 20 years. And in 2012, in 2011, I went to Carl White at the Mortgage Marketing Animals. I was a member of his Mortgage Marketing Animals. And I said, I think we should do some one-on-one training, one-on-one coaching. And so I didn't know if he would do it or not, but he said, you know what? Put something together and let me know. And so I did. It took me 90 days of working in my business during the day and working at night, putting together the daily success plan and the whole thing for the Freedom Club. And he said, let's try it. So I tried it for 90 days. We tried it for 90 days with me coaching and for free, just to see if it would work. And it worked really well. We got fantastic results. So we've been doing that coaching. And I've been coaching with Carl up until about 3 weeks ago, when I just decided that I needed to focus on my training company. And so that's what I'm doing now, is focusing on my training company. But with Carl's encouragement, in 2019, January of 2019, I started the Loan Team Training Company, because I noticed that as I was coaching high-performing loan officers, that there was a real need for their team to be trained, because they didn't have time to train them. They need to go get business. And so I noticed that there was a real need for that. So that's what I did, is I started the training company, and we started with the WOW training class. And now we have 3 classes and a few other offerings. And so it started from there.
I love that. That's great. And I think Dave Holland, who is one of our partners here at HMA, obviously, he has sent a number of his loan partners to you for training. And I love that, how you started. I think so many people can relate to that in the mortgage business, that someone says, oh yeah, we'll get you training. And then it just doesn't happen.
Yes.
I think that is the story of many people.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And it's frustrating when you're trying to learn something and you're the type of person that wants to know the details and nobody's there to give you the details and how to deal with people. There's so much to learn. But this WOW training that we do, it's not about learning how to do a mortgage. It's about talking to people. It's about communicating, about having a great mindset, using good self-talk. And it's for the loan assistants or loan partners, the support staff, so that they can support the loan officer. It's about systems and processes and how to talk to people, words to use, role playing with the calls, how to ask for referrals without feeling like a salesperson. All of the stuff that I noticed was needed, but I had never seen it in a training course. So that's what we do.
This is interesting, Irene. Tell us a little bit more about them. You're getting into it a little bit here, but is it a matter of they're kind of going through a process of yours to kind of graduate or get certified of the WOW program? And then is it a matter of just having like talking points that they're using throughout their sales process? Just wanted
Yeah.
to dive a little deeper on it.
Yeah. So what it is it's a 10-hour course. It's live on Zoom, and they have to have their camera on and their audio
Oh,
on so that it's very interactive. When we first started it in January of 2019, they had to fly their people here to Phoenix. We did it in person.
oh, cool.
Thank goodness with Kevin Gillespie's, the other coach, Kevin Gillespie, he really was after me a long time to do it virtually. He said so many people are missing out because they can't go to Phoenix, and it's more expensive to send them that way. So do it virtually. And in October of 19, I did, thank goodness, because in 2020, we all know what happened in March.
Mm.
And so it worked out really well that I had already been prepared, thanks to Kevin. But what the WOW training is it teaches them how to communicate. So it's for any support staff that communicates with clients. If I had to call it anything, I would call it a communications and systems and process class. That's what
Mhm.
I would call it if I had to put a name to it. We don't teach them how to do an FHA loan or a VA loan or anything like that. We teach them how to deliver such an amazing experience that they never want to go anywhere else.
And when did you find that piece of the puzzle was missing? Because that going down that road, it kind of tells me that, maybe something really went awry to say, oh, wow, we need to give these people or give anyone in this position that communication 101 kind of training. Was there a pivotal moment that birthed this idea?
There were several times that it kept coming up over and over on my coaching calls that I don't have time to train my loan partner and she's not doing a good job or he's not doing a good job. And so then I'll ask them questions and they said, well, they should know what they're doing. They just came in. So they just kind of throw them in and don't give them anything. They don't know how the loan officer talks, the way they want to be communicated with, the way they want them to talk to clients. All of that was so important and they weren't doing it. And so they also said, my loan partner doesn't have a sense of urgency. My loan partner, I can't trust that when I'm gone, they'll be able to handle everything. And things like that kept coming up and they don't know how to ask for a referral. And they're not salespeople. They're not meant to be salespeople, but they can learn to ask for a referral in a really warm way, in a way that they're comfortable with. And so we kind of flip the script on them. We give them a different way, a different frame of looking at asking for referrals during the class. And they're helping people. And if they look at it as helping people, it's very different than if they look at it as, oh, we just want to get a loan in. Because that isn't who they are. They're support people. So that I hope that answered your question, that's where it came from, was just listening to them say things that needed to be done. And as I was listening to them, I just thought, I finally said, you know what? I need to come up with a class that gives them all of these holes in their business that they don't have time to train. And think about it. Because see, I was talking to all kinds of loan officers, and those loan officers only knew what they needed, but they didn't hear about what everyone else was saying as well. And so I was able to put it together and create this training course that has all of that in it.
That's awesome. It sounds really powerful, Irene. And it's so awesome to have this kind of access and availability specifically for our loan officers and more, to get their support team also trained. Because as you point out, a lot of times it's just tweaks in communication. I say this to our team all the time, Rachel, in marketing, providing support to the loan officers, right? A lot of times it's not the actual project itself, where a problem or an issue could lie or delay. Many times it's in the communication. Did you follow up properly? Did you ask the right questions?
Yes.
Why is somebody experiencing frustration? And a lot of times when you backtrack what went on, it always comes back to just some lapse or tweak in communication that's needed. So it really applies across all industries, right?
It does.
So, I mean, this is just a really important tool that we now have in our arsenal. I know you mentioned, Irene, self-talk, and I know that's just such a huge piece of this platform. Can we talk about that a little bit more and some exercises or examples that you go through with some of your clients on how to teach them more about how self-talk is affecting their day and affecting their business?
Yes. So with self-talk, it's all about what's going on right in our mind, right? If we're thinking a certain thought, it's going to make us feel a certain way, and that's going to make us act a certain way, and that's going to give us a certain result, whether it's good or bad. And so it's important that we intentionally put the right thoughts in our mind, and we're very intentional about it. So if we catch ourselves saying, let's just say, I'm always late. That's one of the ones a lot of people say, I'm always late. If we keep telling ourselves I'm always late, we're always going to do it. It's never going to change. But if we catch ourselves saying that, we say, no, I'm always on time. And you keep repeating that over and over and over, your brain will start to make sure that you're always on time. It's amazing how it works. There's neuroplasticity in our brain, and it can be rewired. We're not stuck just because we grew up with certain programs or certain things that we always say to ourselves. It's never too late to change it. And all it takes is a new way of looking at it, new self-talk that we say, and it's very intentional and repeated quite a bit, because the brain will do more of what the brain hears being repeated.
Yeah, that makes a lot of logical sense to me, for sure.
It does. Dealing with tweens and teenagers in my house, that's a big topic that comes up quite often. And I'm curious because kids do this and they don't realize the things that they're saying about themselves to themselves. Do you find that with adults too?
Oh, yeah.
Are they not even aware of the things that they're telling themselves?
Yes. I have to catch myself every day. I've been doing this for a lot of years, and I still have to catch myself saying things and then rewording it, and just realizing that if I don't change what I'm thinking and I'm not intentional about it, I'm not going to get better at that thing, whatever it is. I notoriously, being completely transparent here, my biggest thing has always been I don't remember people's names. And I've been saying that to myself. I've got a really good groove in my neuroplasticity that says I don't remember names. And so I've really been working on that, especially the last couple years, been working on it. It's still not where I want it to be. I have to keep reminding myself, but it's going to work. It will work.
Yeah.
I'm Rachel. This is Corinne.
And you know what? I love it. I love that you said that, because I remembered your names, because I think if we connect something to when you're remembering a name, then it helps you remember the name. But just telling myself, you're great at remembering names, and making that a part of my daily self-talk. And it's really helped. So
Irene, that is so funny. I am that way too. Faces I never forget, but names do come harder to me. And I get Rebecca a lot. People would call me Rebecca for some reason, but I actually do this, and it does make my children cringe when I do this and we're out, but I'll make that connection for people. I'm a singer and I love music, and I gave voice and acting lessons for a long time, and I would introduce myself as Rockin' Rach. Hey, I'm Rockin' Rach.
That.
And people would remember. And I know my the tennis pro, I started playing tennis during COVID, still calls me Rockin' Rach. And it really does help. So find something that you can associate. If you have an M name and you're in the mortgage business, you're just set up. But making it fun and making it a little bit of a game.
I love that idea. Yeah, that's so great. The self-talk thing is so important, because who we become is going to be who we tell ourselves we're going to become. We can say that we're going to make $1 million a year, or loan officers can say, I'm going to close 20 loans. But if they don't change their self-talk to say that every day, then they're not going to get there, because that belief system may not be there. And the only way that belief system is going to change is for them to keep repeating that they're going to close 20 loans. I close 20 loans. I close this amount of loans. I used to put sticky notes that said, I close whatever my goal was up on my screen, so that I would see it every day. I used to put it on my mirror, and I still do have things on my mirror in the morning of my goals, so that I remember to repeat it.
I love that you're kind of diving into this a little deeper, Irene. I was going to ask you, kind of get into this, and you mentioned it with the sticky notes. Are there specific tangible examples or nuggets you can give our listeners here of what you're encouraging them to do? Sticky notes is a great one to start with, but I mean, as far as, fixing that self-talk, I know you're saying repetition. So repetition is the way to teach the brain, go to a positive thought instead of just immediately going to that negative thought, or having a bad memory and just continuing to let that resonate instead of correcting it. Having positive affirmations around. Are there any other suggestions that you have of how they can just start today? Start in 5 minutes, practicing some nuggets of your program.
So they could take let's say they take 2 things. Let's not start too big. Let's say they take 2 things that they're saying to themselves that they know is not helping them. And then they take that and they reword it to the positive. Like if they're saying, I'm always late, they could say, I'm always on time, as if it's already happened. Not it's going to happen, but as if it's already happened. If they say, I never remember names, they can say, I'm great at remembering names. Or I'm disorganized. They can say, I'm extremely organized. Now, when they first say these things, all of us, when we first say it, we don't believe it. It's not true yet, right? We don't believe it. It's like we feel like we're lying to ourselves. But what happens is the more you say it, the more you'll start believing it, and the more you'll make that happen. But it has to be super intentional. It can't just be once in a while. Now, nobody's perfect. We're not going to start out doing it perfectly from the very beginning, but just try it. Just take one step and just try. Just take one thing that you're saying to yourself and change it to the opposite, and as if it's already happened. So that's one way to do it. And that's the way that I suggest the most, because then it's very specific to what your thing is that you want to change. But there is a really good app called Self-Talk Plus. And it's from Shad Helmstetter, Dr. Shad Helmstetter, and he is a pioneer and an expert at self-talk. And he wrote a book called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. And I ran across it in a bookstore, and that's how I first heard about him many, many years ago. And then I was able to see him speak in person, and he's actually been on my podcast twice.
Oh,
I
cool.
reached out to him, and he's
Awesome.
just an amazing person. So encouraging. He lives everything that he teaches. And so that app will give you ready-made self-talk that you can just listen to. And there's tons of different topics that you can choose. Like this morning, right before this, I was just listening to one about staying focused. And he's talking to you and repeating affirmations, and you're listening to it while you're putting your makeup on, while you're getting ready, while you're cooking, different things, not while someone's talking to you, but just in the background, playing it. And it's so helpful. So I did that this morning because my biggest goal right now is staying focused on what I'm working on. And so I've been listening to that topic. So
that's a great tool. That app it's called Self-Talk app.
Yes, Self-Talk Plus.
Self-Talk Plus. I'm gonna download that. We'll put it in the chat. I don't know about you, Rach, but I could use the focus moment, especially with the kids home this summer. Rach and I have kids that are basically the same age, home for the summer, and we were just chatting about how being working mothers, it is a challenge focusing in the morning sometimes with all the shuffle going on, and these kids on different schedules. So I could use that app talking to me in the morning before starting the day and getting everybody set up.
You would be so surprised at the difference it will make in your outlook all day long when you do that. You know how some people always talk about exercising first thing in the morning and how it makes you feel? This is exercise for the brain.
I like that, exercise for the brain. So we exercise our bodies and exercise the brain in the morning to get the whole day started on that right note.
Yep. And you can do it while you're doing something else. It's not, you don't have to sit there and listen to it. I do it while I'm getting ready in the morning.
Yeah, that's a great piece of advice and just a really healthy way to start the day for people like me who constantly say, yes, I'm going to get up and exercise. It just doesn't work for my lifestyle and what's going on. But something like that would be a really nice fit into, something I'm already doing. So that's a great piece of advice. Now, what about for the loan officers out there who maybe are telling themselves that, I'll never get to X amount in production. Maybe are they waiting too long to get the help that they need to have a loan partner come into their business. They're starting with some negative self-talk, but maybe there's some other things that they could do to help them get to a more positive place. Do you see a lot of people who are waiting too long to hire that loan partner?
Absolutely. I do. And part of it is from fear. Fear stops them because they think, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to pay this amount of money annually to that loan partner, and I can't afford that. Well, if you break it down to monthly and realize that if you bring the right loan partner on, and if they're doing the right activities for you, and all of that is mapped out, then within a month or two, you'll actually be making more money instead of paying out money, because they're going to be able to take a lot of things off your plate so that you're freed up to go get more business and bring it in. But if you don't have a person like that, you're going to get stuck in the weeds. You're going to be doing everything, and you will always have a reason not to get out to go get more business because you're busy working on your loans. And if you have the right person in place to do that, they can free you up and you bring more money in. So you might be out 1 or 2 months of money to invest that amount of money in a loan partner, but you'll get that back once they are doing everything that you have currently been doing, and it's kept you back from going out and getting more business. So my advice is don't look at the whole annual salary. Only look at the monthly, and imagine if you get the right person, it's only going to take a month or two for you to start covering what you pay them and then making even more down the road.
It just makes a logical sense with the larger concepts of LO coaching too, Irene, that you can't continue to handle every single detail on piece of the business. I know we hear the HMA partners talk about this a lot in their podcast as well, that you have to start delegating and pulling in outside help to be able to continue to grow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you don't get the right help, the one that is specific, tailored to the way you work as a loan officer, you could end up going through a lot of people. So it's better to know exactly who you want first. Ask yourself a lot of questions. What am I looking for in the person? What kind of skills do they need? What kind of way do I want them talking to my people? How do I want them to communicate? What kind of support do I need while I'm working every day? What kind of person can I trust to work with me? What skills do they need to have? What values do they need to have? All of that they can ask themselves. And then the mistake that a lot of loan officers make is they don't map out a job description about what that person is going to do. So they bring a body in, and they may have experience, but they don't know exactly what you want. They don't know. It's not mapped out. And so even the most experienced loan partners, they need to be on the same page as the loan officer. And the only way that's going to happen is to map out what their job description is. When we train the loan partners in our WOW training, I always ask the question, raise your hands. Those of you that have a well mapped out job description, raise your hands. And very few hands go up. Very few. So that's one of the first things we work on, is for them to go back to their loan officer and get that set up.
Wow. I'm really glad that you hit on that, because I've heard many loan officers say over the years, I've tried to go the loan partner route, but it just doesn't work for me. Or, I'm on my third loan partner now, and it's just, it's not working out. It probably is. It's a marriage of sorts, and finding the right person. It might not be that the job is not that you don't need a loan partner. It's just that you don't have the correct loan partner.
Exactly. Yes.
So is that something that is part of your WOW training as well, pairing the right loan officer to the right loan partner?
I just yesterday launched a program to assist loan officers in hiring the right loan partner, somebody that's exactly right for them, and so what I do is we have them have candidates, and so I can help them with the ad. I can help them get set up so that ad goes out, and then they look through the candidates and the resumes, and then I come in when they find their finalists, the 3 or 4 people that they really are interested in. And the first thing I do is have a call with them, and we go through what they're looking for. I ask them a ton of questions so we know exactly who and what experience they're looking for. And then once we have that, they map out a job description and I help them with that. They put out exactly what that role is going to do. And then we do the ad. And the ad is, of course, about what that role is. And then once they have their finalists, then I actually will go through it with them, talk it over with them. And then I will interview the finalists as well, with knowing everything about that loan officer that they're looking for. And I'll be able to ask them questions and stuff and and I'm DISC certified. So I go through their DISC profile to make sure that that's also being done. And then I am a resource to them. I don't make the decision. The loan officer makes the decision, but we go back and forth in a way that just gives them somebody to talk to about it that has a lot of experience with this. And it's worked out beautifully because I've already had a person that did it, Joe, and he's given me a outrageously wonderful testimonial and he's very happy with his loan partner. And he came to me to try this because he said, Irene, I've hired people in the past and I've gone through 3 loan partners. I'm not good at it. I don't like it. I don't want to do it. But he did have to interview them first, talk to them, but it was very brief compared to what I did. And another thing that loan officers don't do is they don't give them a mortgage knowledge test. If they're looking for somebody with mortgage knowledge, you can't just interview and ask them questions. You need to give them a test, a skills test. And if you don't do that, you're missing out on something big because they can fool you. You know, they can say all the right things in an interview, but you've got to see proof.
I love this, Irene. I'm already getting ideas for myself, being a manager myself who works on hiring and interviewing on a regular basis. I love that. A mortgage knowledge test first, because sometimes you vibe with a personality and you get a really good feeling or have a couple chats and get a great feeling, but there's some things that you should probably slow down and go through so that you don't realize after the fact, because it costs you more time, more money, you know, especially for our branch managers out there and ones who are working on bringing in new team members, having that calculated process and going through a coaching platform like yours to ensure that you do it first on the front end instead of the back end or have any regret, because it usually ends up costing you more time and money anyway.
Absolutely.
If you don't spend the time up front.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's doing the work up front that makes the process better. Whether it's mortgages or whether it's hiring or whatever it is, if you do the work up front, then it's very clear to everybody what is expected.
Yeah, that's great. I can think of a few branches right now that would really benefit from this kind of a service because, they're focused on their business. They just don't have necessarily the skill set to even have the right questions to ask. So this is really awesome. Irene, you know, as we're wrapping up, what's just one belief that you wish every loan officer would just kind of ditch, would just kind of get rid of? Is there something that stands out that you're like, I really wish people would just get rid of that?
Yeah, you know, I've never been asked that question before. I'm glad you asked it.
I know it's probably
there's quite a few actually, but if I had to pick one, I would say that one that they want to get rid of, or one that they was same thing, whether they want to say it or get rid of it.
Either way, actually, I like both.
Yeah, I would say stop saying that you can't make it happen. Stop saying that it won't work, because it's never too late to start something. It's never too late to reach your goals. It's never too late to change your habits. It's never too late to believe in yourself. And no matter how old you are, how long you've been in the business, you can start today and be better. So stop saying that doesn't work for me.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Irene, this is awesome. Are there any other classes that you offer that's affiliated with the WOW Loan Team training that you want to highlight a little bit? We want to bring as much value to the loan officers as possible. And this has just been such a great session.
Thank you. Yeah, we have client conversion training, which is a live course as well. My son, Kenny, who is a loan partner for a loan officer, that he does all the loan consultations. And so we came up with, he and I came up with this class, but mostly him, because he does it every day. And we teach loan officers or we actually started it for loan partners who do that role that he does. But we found that newer loan officers and other loan officers are coming to the course to learn how to convert even better, how to convert more clients to say, yes, I want to work with you. So we talk about self-talk, emotional intelligence, scripting, how to use tools that will help the client say, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I want to work with you, how to have a great experience. But it's all about converting the client to say, yes, I want to work with you from the very beginning. That's what that course is.
That's
And
powerful.
Our other one is for newbies, not newbies. It's for people who have never been formally trained in the mortgage business. Somebody might have a loan partner that's been doing it for 6 months, but they were never formally trained. They're just learning as they go, bits and pieces, And so we've put together it's called the Loan Assistant Mortgage Training Bootcamp. And it's A to Z about mortgages, about how to be a great loan partner, but also everything about mortgages, how to pre-qualify somebody, how to go through a 1003, how to get documentation, FHA, VA, all the different things that they need to know to qualify somebody and to go through all the process, all the way to the processor. So it's the beginning to the processor, all mortgage related. And we also throw a few bonuses in there about being a good loan partner and a self-talk. All of our courses have self-talk in it. They always will, because that's the foundation of everything.
Well, that's awesome. I want to take the course. I'm not a loan officer, but I feel like there is so much value in the course and just diving in on the self-talk exercises alone. But thank you so much, Irene. WOW Loan Team Training, founder and CEO. Any questions, please follow up with us and feel free to follow up with Irene directly. And please like, subscribe, and share all the things. We loved having you today on the Creative Brief.
Thank you. I loved being here. Thanks for asking me.
Thanks, Irene. Catch you soon.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.